Hey there, if you're a dog owner in Westmoreland, Tennessee, you are in exactly the right place. We're going to walk through everything you need to know to find the perfect trainer for you and your pup so you can have a really great life together right here in Sumner County. Life with a dog in our area is just different, right? I mean, picture this, taking these really peaceful walks past the historic homes, or maybe having your dog just chill by your side on a busy Saturday at the farmer's market. That's the dream, and good training is what gets you there. All right, so let's get into it. First up, we're talking about training specifically for life in Westmoreland, because let's be honest, it's about so much more than just the basic sit and stay. The right kind of training really gets your dog ready for the stuff you'll actually encounter around here. Things like walking nicely on a leash when you're downtown, or maybe learning to ignore the livestock if you live out near some of the farms. How about staying calm when traffic gets crazy for a local event? And of course, there's the big one, greeting people politely when they come to your house. Okay, so now that we're on the same page about why training is so helpful, let's switch gears. How do you actually find a great trainer? Here's what you need to be looking for. So the very first thing you want to look for is a trainer who's all about positive reinforcement. There's a really good reason this is the modern standard. It's not about forcing your dog to do something. Instead, it's about teaching them that when they make good choices, good things happen, like a treat or some praise. It works, and it really builds a strong, trusting bond between you two. And this leads to a really crucial point. You absolutely want to avoid any trainer who uses fear, intimidation, or any kind of physical corrections. Honestly, those methods are just outdated, and they can create some really serious behavioral issues down the road. A good, qualified professional is going to focus on building up your dog's confidence, never, ever breaking their spirit. Now, let's talk certifications. You might see these letters after a trainer's name. Think of them kind of like a degree or a license for other professions. They mean the trainer has passed some tough exams and they're committed to staying up to date on the best, most humane training techniques. Basically, a trainer with these credentials has really invested in their career and their skills. So what kind of training should you choose? Well, let's look at the two most popular options. You've got group classes, which are fantastic for getting your dog comfortable around other dogs and people and practicing with distractions. Then you've got private sessions. These are all about that one-on-one attention, which is perfect if you're trying to work on a very specific goal or maybe a behavior that only pops up at home. All right, let's get into the practical stuff. We're going to talk money, what you can expect to pay, and also the really important part, how to actually interview a trainer to make sure they're the right fit. This chart here gives you a pretty good ballpark for training costs right here in the Westmoreland area for 2026. So for example, a typical 6-week group class is probably going to be somewhere between $130 and $225. On the other hand, something like a board and train program is, a much bigger investment. And of course, keep in mind that these prices can definitely change depending on a trainer's experience and their qualifications. Okay, so knowing the cost is one piece of the puzzle, but finding the right person is the other bigger piece. So, what should you actually ask a potential trainer when you talk to them? Here you go. Think of this as your must-ask checklist. First, you'll want to hear them talk about their training philosophy. Make sure it's positive reinforcement. Then, ask about their certifications and education. A good trainer won't have a cookie-cutter plan, so ask them how they're going to tailor things specifically for your dog. And finally, get clear on how they track progress, and of course, a full breakdown of the fees so there are no surprises. Okay, last section. Let's wrap up with some important local rules you need to know, and then we'll get to the fun stuff, some awesome local spots where you can go practice all those new skills. First up, the leash law. It's pretty simple. Here in Sumner County, your dog needs to be under your control when you're in public. And what that really means, for everybody's safety, is that your dog should be on a leash. Now, this next one is the big one. It's a state law, and it's not optional. Every single dog in Tennessee has to have a current rabies vaccination. Just make sure you get it from a licensed vet and keep that tag right on your dog's collar. And here's a little something that's good to know, especially if you're new to the area. Sumner County doesn't have a separate dog licensing system. That rabies tag we just talked about, that's it. That's the main legal tag your dog needs to have. So once you and your dog start learning new things, you're going to need places to practice. Memorial Park, right here in Westmoreland, is an awesome place to start. If you're looking for a longer walk, the Tri-County Greenway is just fantastic. And then, as your dog gets better and better, you can head over to places like Lock 4 Park or Bledsoe Creek State Park. They've got more trails and more natural distractions to help you level up your skills. At the end of the day, this is what it's all about. Putting in the time for training It's not really about just fixing problems. It's about creating a richer, happier life with your dog. It's what makes for those better walks, those calmer greetings at the door, and just enjoying your time together as part of the Westmoreland community. I really wish you and your dog the best of luck on your training journey.